So Mehdi Hasan went on Piers Morgan's show, and they debated the issue of Israel, among other things. And there were a couple moments here where I think it's fair to say Mehdi got Piers in a logic chokehold. Not only that, but there was a wee bit of what I might call surgical dismantling of Piers' narrative. So let's start with this one. Here we go.
I think there are people there who just want total war with everything to do with Palestinians.
But don't you think someone like you with your huge platform should be calling that out consistently?
I do, but I also think...
You just gave me a whole thing. Iran backs Hamas, Hezbollah, terrorism. That just sounds like an Israeli narrative.
You take one side completely.
Just like you do in Ukraine.
No, yes.
Yeah. So I'm consistent. I take the side of the Ukrainian people under occupation and the Palestinian people under occupation. I'm consistent.
No, you're not. They're totally different situations.
You have to say that because you're not consistent.
And you have to say what you say.
No, but I literally described it. 2 people's under foreign occupation, 2 people's having their hospitals bombed, 2 people's having their kids killed, 2 people facing governments that say genocidal stuff. Yeah, I'm consistent.
One is a democracy and an ally of the West. And one is not.
ally of the West. What little slip in there? What's that got to do with anything? So allies of the West get to be genocidal?
No.
Why did you say ally of the West?
I don't believe what they're doing in
So
Gaza.
If Russia was an ally of the West, they could kill people in Ukraine?
I don't believe what they're doing in Gaza is genocide. You do, I don't.
Well,
genocide is the complete...
Put genocide to one side, whether we agree or not on genocide, and it is genocidal.
It's not genocide.
You just said they're your ally of the West. Why is that relevant?
I think it's important that you support...
So if you're an ally of the West, you get to kill kids?
No, you get...
So why is it relevant?
You support...
You're making my point for me, Piers. I'm consistent. I don't care whether you're an ally of the West or an enemy of the West.
Fine.
I care about what you do.
Yes.
And Russia and Israel both committing war crimes, both saying genocidal stuff.
But Mehdi, here's my point. You are so blindly anti-Israel that you frame everything...
I could say the same thing about Russia.
I'm very blindly against Russia.
Okay, then so you're inconsistent.
I'm
consistent. I'm blindly anti-occupying Russia that occupies Ukraine, and I'm blindly anti in Israel that occupies Gaza.
So Piers there got tripped up over his own talking points. First of all, when he did the thing about they're an ally of the West, he gives the whole game away, right? Because then Mehdi caught him. He's like, okay, so what you're saying is it's different rules for us and our allies, right? And he's like, no. Okay, then why'd you say that? You said that because your stance was, yeah, we need to support our allies. But what if our allies are wantonly violating international law? What if they're doing war crime after war crime? What if they set up, I don't know, say, concentration camps where they grape people to death? What if they bomb UN buildings? What if they bomb hospitals and schools and shelters? What if they don't allow in food, fuel, and water for civilians? What then? See, he says the thing, Piers does, and then he has to back away from the logical consequences of the thing he just said and he clearly believes. His point is, yes, if you're an ally of the West or you're us, it's kind of different standards. Because I think by definition, you mean well if you're us or our allies. That's what he's admitting to. But the other area where Mehdi catches him is when he says, you're blindly anti-Israel, Mehdi. And Mehdi goes, okay, you're blindly anti-Russia. And Piers is like, yes, I'm blindly anti-Russia. Look, I got to be honest. I take issue with the descriptor blindly in both circumstances, actually. Because the reality is, Mehdi is anti-Israel because he's objectively evaluating the evidence on the ground and the things that are coming out and the pictures and the videos and the massive wanton assassination campaigns of colossal numbers of civilians where Israel bombed a refugee camp, according to themselves, to get one bad guy. They killed hundreds of innocent civilians. So he looks at that and he goes, I'm against that. Is it blind? Is it blindly against that? No. It is, I evaluated the reality on the ground and I think this is bad. Right? There's nothing blind about it. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's after you look at all of the information coming to a conclusion. Blind is saying, I don't know anything, I don't need to know anything, I'm just against that. No, he knows all of it, and he's against it. That's not blind, right? And by the same token, to be fair to Piers, I think if he was being sharper in the moment, he would say, no, I'm not blindly anti-Russia. I'm anti-Russia because they waged an illegal war of aggression against Ukraine and then lied about it and said, we're trying to denazify Ukraine. And that's totally bogus. NATO did not invade Russia. Ukraine did not invade Russia first. Russia invaded Ukraine. And so that's against international law. They bombed many civilian targets. A lot of innocent people are killed. I'm against it because of those facts on the ground. There's nothing blind about it, right? But it's interesting because Mehdi trips him up so good there that he forgets where he is and face plants. The accusation is, Mehdi, you're blindly anti-Israel. He's like, okay, you're blindly anti-Russia. He's like, that's correct. Oh, man. Look, the point is, to Mehdi's argument, what he's saying is, I don't care about what side you're on. I care about what you do. And if you're violating this international law and that international law and killing this many innocent people, etc., that's bad. And so what he's saying is, I am taking the side of the occupied people in Palestine, and I'm taking the side of the occupied people in Ukraine. The people who are the victims in both scenarios, I'm taking their side based on my evaluation of what's actually happening and the evidence and the reality of the situation, right? But it's funny because to Piers, it's like, it's a sign of being unserious if you're anti-Israel, but it's a sign of being serious if you're anti-Russia, right? So it's true. He's sort of kind of hook, line, and sinker chugged the Kool-Aid of the West in the sense that he does seem to believe on some level, if you are us or our allies, you at the very least mean well, so we have to evaluate what you do through that lens. But it hasn't occurred to him that, no, in many instances, we could just not mean well. Us and our allies could just be wrong and could just be bad in certain circumstances. It doesn't mean everything we ever do ever is wrong or bad, but in certain contexts, you got to call a spade, right? So now let's go to the other portion here where they get into it a little bit about Trump.
He's a convicted criminal because of a one-night stand with a porn star.
That's not why.
Did you feel comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable with the trial that Alvin Bragg done. I'm comfortable with the grand jury that indicted him. I'm comfortable with the jury of his peers that convicted him. But
you can't be comfortable.
And I'm actually, what I'm uncomfortable with is that a bunch of his own judges now are protecting him from justice elsewhere. That makes America look like a quote-unquote banana republic. You know, you and I live in the UK. You don't get to go pick your own judge.
I actually thought the way that the
Florida thing is ridiculous.
I thought the way the Democrats weaponized the justice system to go after Trump.
I wish they had. They didn't actually. They spent years dragging their feet. Merrick Garland was a useless AG.
They made him a convicted criminal over a one-night stand.
They did not make anything.
18 years before.
A jury of his peers
should never have been put to a jury.
Let me answer your original question about violence, but since we sidetracked, a jury of his peers convicted him. Back to this, on the rhetoric, I wish I didn't have to compare Donald Trump to Hitler. But when he quotes the lines from Mein Kampf, as a journalist...
Come on, Mehdi.
As a journalist, should I not point out that?
You shouldn't compare him to Hitler because he's not Hitler.
Okay, so what should I do? So I'm a journalist. Donald Trump says immigrants are poisoning our blood. I go look in history, who's the only person who said that? Hitler. Should I not tell my viewers on Piers Morgan Uncensored? Should I go, can't tell them that?
No, you can say he shouldn't use language like that.
Can I say he's quoting Adolf Hitler?
You can't say he's the new Hitler.
I haven't called him the new Hitler.
Right.
I've never called him the new
Hitler.
Hitler.
Except the people
but you say I'm allowed to say he's quoting Hitler.
If he uses a direct sentence, which you can chart back to
it's almost directly the same.
That's absolutely fair enough. But the idea that there is any comparison between Trump and
Hitler...
Hitler...
No, of course not. Hitler is Hitler. We know that.
...is appalling.
Hitler is Hitler.
What an amazing cell phone. Yes, Donald Trump quoted Hitler almost directly on the issue about immigrants poisoning the blood of our nation. But you can't compare him to Hitler, but it's okay to say that he almost directly quoted Hitler, but you can't say he's the new Hitler, but you can say, sure, he sometimes uses rhetoric that's like Hitler. I can't. Just so everybody understands, what Piers is trying to do here is he's trying to do the whole, there were 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump, and that is not, I don't know what kind of weird non-accent I'm doing. There are 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump, and that is directly the fault of Democratic rhetoric. He's trying to do that whole tap dance. And what Mehdi is saying is, look, truth is always a defense. So if I'm saying something that's objectively accurate, and then somebody goes and takes that narrative and runs with it and does something bad, that doesn't mean I should stop telling the truth. That's what Mehdi's saying. All right, let's keep going.
Do you agree it's appalling?
No, but I want to qualify what you're saying.
Hitler, you agree it's appalling?
What is appalling?
To compare him to Hitler.
To compare him to in what sense, though?
They're calling him the new Hitler.
Yeah, so no, don't call him the new Hitler.
Is that appalling?
Oh my God, I'm not playing the silly game.
Give me a word.
I don't want you put your words.
Give me a condemnatory word.
I think it's not accurate to say he's the new Hitler because Hitler killed 12 million people. Yeah, it's not true.
Not offensive.
But if you let me finish the sentence, I speak to a lot of fascism scholars, people like Ruth Ben-Ghiat, Jason Stanley. A lot of people say that there is an analogy between what Trump is doing in America now and what happened in places like Germany in the 20s and 30s.
No,
I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion that you don't think it is.
Give me an example.
I'm not having that argument. I'm trying to make a separate point, which is if fascism scholars are saying we look at history and we make comparisons, they are scholars of fascism, and they're saying, hey, hold on, the rhetoric is very similar. The way they're operating is very similar. That is it. First of all, free speech, they should be allowed to say that. You used to be the free speech champion.
I am.
And then you sit there regulating everyone's speech.
I'm
saying it's appalling.
I'm not regulating. No, I'm asking
you literally just told me.
Call
it appalling.
That's not regulating what you're saying. It's asking you, can you bring it in yourself to condemn people who say he's the new Hitler?
I don't know who those people are. J.D. Vance called him the new Hitler, and he's his running mate. To take it up with J.D. Vance.
Condemn him as well.
Call him on your show.
You condemn anyone on the left who uses it too, right?
Uses what, though?
Who says he's the new Hitler?
Those specific words, the new Hitler, yes.
Okay.
Is he speaking like Hitler? Yes, he is.
Okay.
And that should be condemned. Hold on, do you condemn him speaking like Hitler?
Yes.
Does that not outrage you?
Of course.
He's like your pal. Why don't you tell him to stop it?
Of course.
Have you ever told him to stop quoting Hitler?
Yes, probably. I can't remember the last interview I did was before or after, but if I do again, I will. Yes, of course.
Good. And hosting a Holocaust dinner at Mar-a-Lago.
But yes, Nick Fuentes, absolutely.
Have you told him to stop doing that?
I said it on Twitter to him. Don't let white supremacists anywhere near you. Why are you doing that?
No, that's not condemnation. That's a question.
I think
it's condemning.
Condemn it. It's disgusting.
It's appalling.
It's appalling.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Agreement.
I can't believe these Democrats are comparing him to Hitler, but I've told Trump myself, stop quoting Hitler and stop dining with Nazis like Nick Fuentes. Like, what are we doing here, man? Oh my God. I have to say, the whole argument about like Democrats need to watch their rhetoric. I can't take it seriously because literally every day or every other day, Trump is out there calling Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. They're fascist, they're communists, one of the things they said was Maoist. I don't think Trump said Maoist because he probably doesn't know what Maoist is, but you had other right-wingers calling them Maoist. He says they're destroying the country, like every sort of hyperbolic over-the-top thing. He said that Kamala's mentally disabled. He proposed that we do the purge. Like, when it comes to rhetoric, obviously Trump's rhetoric is way more unhinged and way more violent in nature than that of Kamala or Biden or anybody on the Democratic side. And then furthermore, look who actually pulled the trigger against Trump. One of them was a registered Republican. The first one was a registered Republican, probably a Groyper type person, so super far right. And the other one was just fucking schizophrenic. Right? Like, if you looked at his history in politics, it's all over the place. He was massively pro-Ukraine, but also massively pro-Taiwan and massively anti-homelessness. And he said he supported a ticket of Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley, and he also donated to Andrew Yang and Tom Steyer. He was just a mess, right? So the idea you can pin this on standard Democratic campaign rhetoric is just a way to try to say, hey, Democrats, shut up. You can't criticize Trump. Stop criticizing Trump. Stop pointing out objective facts about the things that he says. It's not acceptable. Because maybe somewhere down the line, somebody who's not affiliated with you or your movement at all in some way or another will do something bad to Trump, and we're going to pin it on you even though it has nothing to do with you. No, we're not playing this game. We are not playing this game. This game is silly. This game is ridiculous. And obviously any sort of you can literally quantify this, I'm sure. Any sort of objective analysis about who's the bigger name caller, who's more unhinged in rhetoric. It's not going to be remotely close. Kamala's running the most banal, vanilla, generic Democrat campaign I've ever seen about unity, and we are going to come together as one America, and I am from the middle class, and I like the middle class, and small business tax cuts are good, and paid family leave sounds swell. Like, that's the shit she's talking about, and Piers is like, oh, this Democratic rhetoric. Will you condemn the people who call him the new Hitler? And Mehdi's like, yeah, he's not the new Hitler, so I would condemn people who call him the new Hitler. But also nobody's actually calling him that, and Trump has quoted Hitler. And Piers is like, okay, that's true. Yeah, he has quoted Hitler. And he did dine with Nick Fuentes. But don't call him the new Hitler. That's too far. Okay, we agree. He's not the new Hitler, but he has quoted Hitler. And it's like, round and round and round we go.
You said Trump called for the ethnic cleansing of legal immigrants in the United States. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
What did he say?
He said he wanted to deport illegal immigrants.
No, he didn't, actually.
Yes, he did.
Piers, you're wrong.
That's what he said.
Again, anyone can play the tape after this interview. You're wrong. You should do better homework.
Ethnic cleansing is a forced expulsion,
I love your team.
usually involving killing of members of a specific religious or ethnic group.
Hold on.
That's what ethnic cleansing
I really
is.
like your team. I deal with them a lot when I come in. But you should talk to whoever did your research, because that's wrong. You know what he said? Go watch the clip. It's on tape. He said, we've got to get rid of them from Springfield.
Yeah.
Who are the people in Springfield? Haitians. They're not illegal immigrants.
So it's interesting, Springfield.
Hold on, no, don't jump around. You just got something wrong.
You're going to mention Springfield.
You said wrong. No, you did. We could play the tape back. He said illegal immigrants. That's not true. He said Haitians should be. You've got to get rid of them.
You said, Mehdi. Let me just go.
No. You said.
Hang on. Let me clarify what you said.
Clarify what you
said.
said.
His policy is calling for the ethnic.
It isn't
cleansing.
policy. It's a phrase on Twitter. If you're going to come and police my tweets, then fine.
Well, you said that Trump has called for the ethnic cleansing of legal immigrants.
The violent, forcible removal of legal immigrants, I think, is a form of ethnic cleansing.
That's not his position.
But his
position is that there should be mass deportation of illegal.
Wrong. The clip is online. Everybody.
You're conflating different things.
No, you are, because my tweet was over that clip. So anyone can go look, and you guys got it wrong. I looked at a clip of him saying, "You got to get rid of them in Springfield."
Different story. Different thing.
But that's what I'm tweeting about, Piers. You don't get to
But that's not
misrepresent
what he's talking about with the mass deportation.
Yes, he is. He was talking about Springfield.
No,
he said
wasn't.
Springfield.
No, he talked.
Have you watched the clip?
Yes, I've watched many clips.
No,
of all
but
of
the clip that my tweet is on.
Well,
I mean, you're wrong, Piers. I get it. You can back
Do you
down and
think
say
he
you're
wants
wrong.
ethnic cleansing of Haitians in Springfield?
What he wants, I don't try and get inside a madman's
You call
head.
that ethnic cleansing?
I'm not. If he tries to violently remove,
he wants to kill them?
Can I finish a sentence? If he wants to violently remove legal immigrants from their homes, yeah, I think that's a form of ethnic cleansing. Yes, based on their ethnicity or identity, 100%.
Do you think it's right in Springfield?
Do you think it's right to call for the deportation
get
of legal
worded?
immigrants? No, you cut me off.
It's actually, it is technically my show.
And you misrepresented my tweet, which you haven't corrected yet. My
Okay.
tweet was in reference to legal immigrants. You said illegal. So you should walk that back.
You
said it to all your viewers. That was wrong.
But you said that he effectively has a policy.
No, I said, no, Piers, don't
No?
misrepresent
Is it a policy or
I
not?
said, in this clip, he's calling for the ethnic cleansing. It's a quote above a clip. It's a quote tweet. You should check your tweets when you put them in your document.
Do you think that's what he's doing, though? Ethnically
Yes,
cleansing?
if he's calling for the deportation of legal immigrants based on their ethnicity, yes.
Damn. That's Mortal Kombat flawless victory thing. Yeah, that was particularly frustrating because Piers, I don't think, was registering what Mehdi was saying. Mehdi was saying, you're just wrong. Like, I remember we covered that clip. And I remember very well. He says, you got to get him out of there. You got to get him out of Springfield. You got to get him out. And those Haitian immigrants in Springfield are legal immigrants. And so, yes, he's saying we're going to deport legal immigrants. Gee, I wonder why he's so against the Haitian immigrants. What is it about them that he doesn't like? Anyway, so what Mehdi's saying is he's calling for the deportation, violent deportation of legal immigrants. That is a form of ethnic cleansing. We want to get rid of all these people with dark skin here in Springfield, Ohio. And basically what Piers is autistically stuck on is, but his policy is to do mass deportation of illegal immigrants, and that's what it says on his website, and that's what he believes. So why are you taking him out of context, good sir? But those are two different things. Yes, he calls for the deportation of, 12 million or 20 million, whatever the number is, illegal immigrants. He wants to do mass deportation of illegal immigrants. But in the clip that Mehdi was referencing, which he quote tweeted a tweet, which had that clip, Trump was calling for the deportation of legal immigrants, which is a form of ethnic cleansing. Once you start talking about, it's not just undocumented immigrants. Now we're going after documented immigrants. Again, gee, I wonder what it is about these Haitian immigrants they're so against, right? He's saying that's a form of ethnic cleansing. I think that's perfectly fair. And I don't think Piers was registering that clip, Trump is calling for the deportation of legal immigrants, right? It's either that or he knew that, but he just wouldn't categorize that as ethnic cleansing. But it's a perfectly fair description. So anyway, Mehdi did not let him get away with that. He nailed him down. He said, you should retract that. You're wrong. Are you going to say you're wrong? You're wrong. Look, you're not going to, to try to nail Mehdi Hasan on some nitpicky ass thing. Why would you think that's going to work? He obviously knows what he said, knows what he was referencing, is up on the facts of what he's talking about. Why would you try to play some cheap gotcha like that? And Mehdi even says hey man, you better reel your staff in because if they fed you this information is incorrect. This information is not true. So, damn, that was brutal. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.